Okay, in this section we're going to learn how to sketch angles with degree measures. Two important vocab words that come to mind here are when you're sketching an angle, you draw a ray like this, and the first ray that you usually sketch is along the x-axis, and so we're going to be using an XY grid just like this, like you've used for graphing before, but we're going to be sketching angles, so we're going to draw one ray, which is called the initial side, and we usually draw that on the x-axis, and then we're going to draw a second ray, which is called the terminal side, and then we're going to talk about the measure in terms of degrees of the angle that measures from the initial side to the terminal side. Now, when I go the way that I just drew the angle, that would be a positive angle. I can also draw from the initial side a terminal side down this way and call it a negative angle. And we're going to be using degree measures from 0 degrees all the way to 360 degrees, which is a complete revolution around this quadrant system. And we may even go more than 360, which means you go around more than one time. Now, another thing that's important in this section is the quadrants. We name them with Roman numerals. This is called Quadrant 1. Quadrant 2, Quadrant 3, Quadrant 4. For example, I might ask the question about 150 degrees and ask you, what quadrant is that in? So one thing that's going to be helpful is when you have this axis, this is 0 degrees, this is 90, this is 180, this is 270, and then I'm back at 360. If I'm going in the positive direction, if I'm going in the negative direction, this would be negative 90, and so on. So 150, if I was measuring from here, I draw my initial side, and then 150 is somewhere over here in the second quadrant, and there's a picture of 150 degrees. I'm not measuring exactly, I'm just doing an educated guess as to where it is. Pretty much if you get it in the correct quadrant, I'm going to mark it correct. I'm not going to take a protractor to measure it. What if I asked you to sketch 225 degrees? Well, you draw a little grid here, and then you'd think, well, there's 90, there's 180, there's 270. So 225 is in this quadrant, and it's probably closer to 180 than it is to 270. And then I put a little arrow to show which direction I measured the angle, and then I usually put the number on the arrow. Because I could measure a negative angle. Suppose I wanted negative 100 degrees. I draw my little grid. Now if I'm counting backwards, because I want to go on the negative side, if I stopped here I'd be at negative 90. I want to go a little bit past 90. So this angle would be negative 100 degrees. So you're going to be asked to sketch angles. What's important is to get it in the correct quadrant. I will not measure the little bit between one and the other. Identify it with either a negative number or a positive number, and for each one I want a new little grid. So that's it. What if I said to sketch a negative 300 degrees? You put a little grid, and negative goes this way. So that's 90, 180, 270. Negative 300 is over here going this way. Now, that angle could have a positive name, right? Negative 300 is the same thing as if I went this way, 60 degrees. So I could go positive 60 degrees and have the same sketch, same angle, or the same ray, but depending on which way I was measuring it, it could be called a positive angle or a negative angle. And that's it. I could also sketch positive let's see, what's 360 plus 60? 420. If I wanted positive 420, that would go all the way around once for 360 plus 60 degrees more. And that would be that angle there, which would be 420 degrees. So I could go around 2 times and then stop there, which would be 360 plus 360 plus another 60. So there's how to sketch some angles. Good luck.